As the mother of two lovely, intelligent, and lively daughters, NQ was completely surprised when her third baby arrived unexpectedly. The news brought both joy and worry to her and her husband. Since they had not planned for another pregnancy, Q had been taking weight loss medication to regain her pre-pregnancy figure. Naturally, she was concerned that the medication might affect the baby growing inside her womb. Everything seemed fine until the 14th week of pregnancy. Suddenly, Q began experiencing abdominal pain for no apparent reason. It was not severe or excruciating, nor did it come in waves. Yet throughout the day, whether sitting or lying down, she constantly held her lower abdomen with both hands and quietly groaned in discomfort. Although the pain was mild, it persisted continuously without stopping. Her family suspected something was wrong and immediately took her to the hospital for an examination. After waiting for some time, a nurse stepped into the hallway and called out, "Mrs. NLNQ, born in 1985, from BH City, DN Province. Please come in for your examination." As expected, after an ultrasound and various tests, the doctor informed her that the placenta had detached by 15%, showing signs of a possible miscarriage. She would need immediate medication to help sustain the pregnancy. Upon hearing the diagnosis, Q could not hide her anxiety. The fears she had harbored earlier now seemed to be coming true. As a Buddhist with a basic understanding of the teachings, Q was naturally worried, yet she remained remarkably calm. Unlike many others in the same situation, she did not sink into despair. After returning home, she continued her evening spiritual practice as she had done ever since learning she was pregnant. For nearly 3 months, every day after completing her household duties, Q would bathe, dress neatly, and respectfully recite the Great Compassion Mantra 7 times along with one chapter of the Ksitigarbha Sutra, dedicating the merit to her unborn child. She would then repent to any karmic creditors and adversaries before going to sleep. That very day, after receiving the diagnosis of threatened miscarriage, she completed her evening practice as usual. Exhausted, she quickly fell asleep and had a strange dream. In the dream, Q walked slowly along a small path leading to the house of a physician. Before she could ask anything, a dignified man emerged from the house, approached her, and said in a warm, deep voice,
"Let me take your child out and care for it."
Startled, Q replied, "My baby is only a little over 10 weeks old. How could you possibly take it out to care for it?" She firmly refused, but the man insisted.
"I can do it."
Before she could respond further, he reached his hand into her abdomen and gently removed a long sack containing the baby. He then told her to return on a certain date to retrieve her child. Still within the dream, when the appointed day arrived, Q returned to the house. The physician took the same long sack and placed it back into her abdomen. Before she could react, she suddenly woke up. To others, it might have seemed like a bizarre dream. To Q, however, it was not difficult to understand. She believed that through her sincere Buddhist practice, her devotion had reached the enlightened beings. From that point onward, her pregnancy remained stable, and no further complications arose. Q had begun practicing Buddhism during her first pregnancy. Although she did not yet know how to recite sutras, she regularly listened to Dharma talks and observed a vegetarian diet 10 days each month. Her first child was born bright and intelligent. During her second pregnancy, she began reciting one chapter of the Ksitigarbha Sutra daily and chanting the Great Compassion Mantra. Her second child also grew up exceptionally smart, winning affection and admiration wherever she went. With her third pregnancy, Q maintained the same diligence and sincerity in her practice. After each session, she dedicated the merit and prayed for a son. She also wished for the child to be born in the 6th lunar month, since her expected due date was August 27, 2020, corresponding to the 9th day of the 7th lunar month. Throughout the entire pregnancy, she remained steadfast in her Buddhist cultivation. Then, on August 3, 2020, the 14th day of the 6th lunar month, at 36.5 weeks of pregnancy, Q went into labor and gave birth to a baby boy weighing 2.4 kilograms. Although underweight, he was perfectly healthy. By the time he was nearly 2 months old, his weight had doubled rapidly, and he had become a chubby, adorable baby. The most remarkable moment came during the delivery. The doctors and nurses exclaimed, "Oh, how fortunate! The baby is still inside the amniotic sac. This child will have a blessed life. Let us open the sac so he can breathe." Lying on the operating table, Q was deeply moved when she heard those words. Suddenly, she remembered the dream she had long ago. In the dream, the physician had taken the baby out while it was still inside a sac. Now, her son was being born in exactly the same way, still enclosed within the amniotic sac. Her heart overflowed with gratitude toward the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, whom she believed had protected both mother and child. The Dharma is truly wondrous. If people practice according to the Buddha's teachings, they can gain tremendous benefits in their lives. Countless real-life stories have been shared and recorded as evidence, helping to dispel doubt and skepticism. If we stubbornly cling to preconceived views without sincerely studying the teachings, reading sutras, and practicing for ourselves, we may miss one of the greatest treasures available in this world. The Buddha appeared in this world with the ultimate purpose of showing sentient beings the path to liberation from the cycle of birth and death, the path to Buddhahood and the liberation of all beings. Yet, through skillful means and great compassion, the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas also help alleviate the sufferings of everyday life, enabling people to continue their spiritual cultivation and eventually attain lasting peace and liberation.